Several years ago, I was able to do an amazing thing. I talked my wife into going canoeing. Now, the reason that's so amazing is because she is a lover of the great inn of doors. Now, she made me promise that we wouldn't tip over and that we'd have a good time, and I promised that. Well, we communicated with about 3 other couples and made arrangements for us to go into northern Arkansas and to float the Buffalo River. It was a beautiful Saturday morning. Everything was just perfect. And very honestly, we had a wonderful morning as we were floating. And we didn't get wet. We didn't tip over unless we wanted to. We were doing some fishing and stopped for some swimming and just having a lot of fun. There were 4 of us, 4 canoes, 4 couples. And then about noon, we stopped on this beautiful sandbar, and the ladies had prepared a nice picnic lunch. We just had a great time. We probably hung around there for 2 hours, 2.5 hours perhaps, and fished and swam and joked and just had a lot of fun. It was a beautiful day. The water was flowing just right, and we really were enjoying ourselves. Had about 2 hours left on our trip, and so that afternoon we put back in the water and headed on downstream. As we were approaching a low water bridge in Hasty, Arkansas, we began to see several caution signs along both sides warning us about the low water bridge, telling us that we needed to get out of our canoes, transport them across the low water bridge, and then put in on the other side of the low water bridge. And a couple of us already had done that. Another couple that was with us, Jack and Becky, they decided to stay in the water a little bit. They got out of their canoes and they were walking toward the low water bridge. And I don't know what happened. I do know what happened. They just got too close to the current, and that massive flow of that water and that current going through and under the low water bridge sucked Becky up against that bridge with a massive force. She knew that she was really in trouble immediately. She was holding onto the canoe. She yelled for her husband Jack to help. He managed to get up on the low water bridge and hold on to her. He turned and yelled at us. Jim and I came back and we immediately got hold of both arms in order to hold Becky up. And Dwight came. Now Dwight and Jack are both big, strong, burly men, outdoors type guys. And they got down on their knees in about 18 inches of water and began to try to push Becky back and down in order for us to pull her up. Jim and I were holding her up, and the only thing above the water was just her face. She was beginning to take on water, and that water current was sucking her down with such massive force that it almost immediately sucked all of the clothes off of her body. Jack and Dwight, their watches got sucked off of their arm as they were trying to push Becky's body down and back. You know, for the next 8 to 10 minutes, those were some of the most grueling minutes of my life, I must admit. The ladies had come up on the bridge and they were kneeling in that 18 inches of water praying, asking for God's intervention. Other canoeists were coming along and they were stopping, offering any type of help. And I don't know what, yes, I do know what happened. It just seemed like for a split second, just for a moment, it seemed like that massive flow that was attempting to suck her down to her destruction. At one time even, she she pleaded with us and said, please let me go. Just let me go. And I said, no, we're not going to give up. We can't let you go. We don't know what debris is caught underneath there. We don't know what is underneath this bridge that would keep you from flowing through. We're not going to give up, and you're not going to give up either. And so what happened? What happened in that moment? It seemed like the water stood still. Just for a moment. Just long enough for Jack and Dwight to push her body down and back, and for Jim and I to pull her up to her safety. And the ladies immediately came over and covered her with towels, and we carried her to a van that someone had brought and offered to loan for us. And we took Becky to the hospital, where she remained for the next 5 days because she had taken on so much water, and her chest cavity and bones had become so bruised. You know, I've often thought that it would behoove the church to get up on the bridge and to reach out and take hold of the precious souls that are being sucked down with a massive force toward their death and destruction. It would behoove the church to get up on the bridge and to pray and to get hold and to not give up, to not let go until God intervened in order to set people free from that tremendous force that is attempting to pull them down to their destruction. Oh, that we might hear the word of the Lord from God's word in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33. When I say to the wicked, O wicked man, you shall surely die, if you do not speak to warn that man from his wicked way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at your hand. Come on, church. Let's get up on the bridge and get hold until God intervenes.